Now, over in Nigeria, the federal government has approved the disbursement of nearly $250 million to the country's 36 state governments. Now, the funds will cover the cost of bulk purchases of rice and maize to cushion households from a surge in food prices. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has embarked on some of the boldest economic reforms Nigeria has had in decades, but they have come at a cost. Scrapping a popular but unaffordable $10 billion a year petrol subsidy has raised the cost of transport and tripled fuel prices. In ending some capital controls on the naira and trying to merge exchange rates, the currency has lost over 60% of its value, and that in turn has made food imports a lot more expensive. Inflation, as a result, has hit an 18-year high last month, with households spending nearly 30% more just to put food on their tables. Let's bring in Tessem Akende for more context on this story. He's part of the team, of course, in Nigeria. So, Tessem, $235 million is the number we're talking about here. How exactly will it be disbursed? Is each state responsible for its own procurement, or are they going to buy the foodstuffs that they need collectively?
Well, each state has been given about 5 billion naira, which came after a meeting of the Federal Executive Council here in Nigeria, comprising of all the governors and very senior government officials at the federal level. Now, to answer you correctly or in the affirmative, each state is supposed to carry out their procurement. Each state has its own demographics and its numerics in different ways. So governors are supposed to carry out statistically looking at their populations and make procurement in that regard to actually ensure that people across different strata get these palliatives. So yes, each state is supposed to look at the monies allocated to them and make procurements, accordingly.
Indeed. So $250 million, it's not exactly small change. How is the government raising the money for this package? Are they allocating it from tax revenues, oil revenues, or is the government having to borrow in order to provide this money to the states?
Well, the Nigerian government has raised a lot of money in the past 3 months, since May, for instance, when subsidy was removed on petroleum products here in Nigeria. So a lot has been raised, over, hundreds of millions of naira, and even in dollars, has been raised. And so the president had assured that, yes, it was going to bring a lot of tough times to Nigerians, occasioned by hike in transportation fares, soaring food prices and all of that. He had promised that loans will be coming from those proceeds to state governments, to medium and micro, medium enterprises, so businesses can come up again. So this coming, at a time as this, when people are actually going through tough times, may just be a fulfillment of that presidential, commitment.
All right, then one last question for you here. The food index is looking at the July inflation data from Nigeria's Bureau of Statistics. The food index went up by nearly 30% year on year. That's a massive price hike. So can you give us a sense of how households are coping?
Well, people are going through really, really torrid times here in Nigeria. Many people have had to adjust. Families have had to reduce, eating rations, and some companies have had to battle, keeping their staff because things are really, really tough. Some governments have had, state governments, governments at the subnational levels have had to reduce, the number of working days, say from 5 to 3, and all of that, just to play around the wages of people, of staff and citizens generally. So it's been really, really tough times. But yes, the president has assured that these times will come and the nation will go through a period as this. If I would quote him, he had said that the nation is going through a birthing, a transition period where it's going through labor pains, but that before long, these savings from subsidy removal, removal on petroleum subsidy, all of this will lead to Nigeria being a productive nation before long. So yes, people have been going through very tough times, but the president says before long, this will be a thing of the past.